Welcome back to Politics Tonight, everyone. Our conversation tonight is focused on what everyone has now considered to be very disturbing and frightening because of its recurrence. About 90 lives were lost and several others injured in what the Nigerian army called error bombing, miscalculated airstrike, intelligence mishap. But whatever linguistic rendition is chosen to describe this very tragic, worrisome situation, so many questions come to mind. For how long shall we continue this way? And what will be the consequence of this for the military and for those who have lost their lives in this tragedy? And it's also important to note that President Tinubu has now ordered for a thorough and full-fledged investigation into this matter. In the meantime, so many questions are waiting answers. Tonight, I am joined by a former deputy head of security at the African Union Commission, Addis Ababa in Ethiopia, retired Group Captain Sadiq Shehu, for discussion on this matter. Group Captain, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Good evening, and thank you for having me.
Right, so this kind of accident that has led to more than 90 civilians, or to the death of more than 90 civilians in Kaduna State, has become very regular. My first question to you is, what are the causes of collateral damage incidents in Nigerian military operation?
Well, thank you very much. On a sad note, first I have to commiserate with the families of those that lost their loved ones, those that got injured, those that lost their property. On the second instance, I must also commiserate with the Nigerian military, community, because as a soldier myself, I know what the soldier wants to do is to protect life. Why it turns for some unfortunate reason, you end up taking life inadvertently. It is a very horrendous, experience. When you see the picture of the Chief of Army Staff, General Lagbaja, yesterday, you see a man in sorrow. And I think anybody, not only in the army, anybody who's in the military or who was in the military must be feeling very sad. Having said that, an evil proverb says that even while you are crying, you should be able to see the road, or else trailer will knock you. When incidents like this happen, it is time to honestly and courageously examine what are the causes, both remote and immediate. The purpose is not to punish. The purpose is not to push blame, but rather to ensure that such things do not occur in the future. In doing that, we will be speaking honestly, but also on behalf of everybody that is affected, we have to be careful, that in pushing blame, in bringing out things that are wrong, which is very necessary, we should also not go to the extreme of weakening the morale of our soldiers so that a soldier is afraid to take the necessary action. Because if we do that, it is counterproductive. At the same time, we should not shy away of saying what is wrong and what can be improved. Having said that, now I will go to your question that what are the causes of collateral damage? This is the latest one. But then, like I said, this one it became like the harvest time for all the other collateral damages incidents that have happened. Some started counting, I've seen papers counting 15, some counting 9 from as far back as 2013. It is in the nature of my work as a trainer on collateral damage or rules of engagement, on targeting. Whenever there are such incidents, I take my time to go through from what is available in the public domain and from researches and from interviews sometimes to try from my own end to identify what is happening. There is a set of trend that runs through almost all the collateral damage incidents, not only this one. And what is that common thread? Is acting on information that has not been verified. In military science or in intelligence, information is different, intelligence is different. Information, anybody can bring information. But experts now will sit down and bring information based on the credibility of the source, his past history of bringing false or wrong information or correct information, probability of what he brought to actually happen, and so many things. You process that information into intelligence. That is now you are sure you have subjected it to scrutiny. Now, in all the incidents I see, if we take them one by one, the bottom line we have is an information was received, and based on information without the proper analysis a strike action was, ordered, only that to find that the information was wrong. This is what runs through all the reason. Apart from that, experts have typified when you have collateral damages, in general, you have three types. The first type is collateral damage that is by genuine accident. On the land, that word, genuine accident. This is where the planners of the operation, the person who, up to the person who released this, have taken all feasible precautions, which are on the line under international humanitarian law and human rights law. He has done all that, and despite everything, an accident happened. Then you have the kind of accident that you can say is proportionality or double effect collateral damage. What does that mean? I have come to a place, a target. I will give a graphic example. I have come to a place where they told me 20 bandits or 50 bandits or terrorists have entered a place. But in that place, I fully know that there are 2 pregnant women or there are 2 children. Now I make an analysis that, look, for the price of 20 terrorists, I think if 2 are gone, unfortunately, now that's a proportionality kind of collateral damage. That means I know the risk, but I know the advantage I am going to get is higher, is far higher. In terms of national security and advantage, it is higher, and then I take that risk. That is the second type of collateral damage. Then there are the third type of collateral damage is the one where I know there is a high risk of collateral damage, probably even over the military advantage I will gain, but I decided to proceed. So these are the 3, things that cause this thing. But basically, with the ones who are happening in Nigeria, what I find from my own analysis is acting on information that has not been processed.
So, Group Captain, this kind of accident that just happened, in what category would you put it? I mean, considering the 3 kinds of collateral damages you've just outlined.
Good. I will probably put it in the second type, that is the systemic damage, the systemic collateral damage. What I mean systemic damage? That means I know that civilian casualty is likely to occur, but I decided to proceed all along. Why do I say that? We look at the circumstances. The Tudumbiri is a settlement. The information we're having is that there was a pursuit of certain terrorists or bandits in the area. I do not know the number. But then, when you know bandits have entered into if you have the information that bandits have entered into a settlement, I don't know again the population of that particular village. But then, if you are going to strike those bandits within that community, then definitely I think ab initio, there is a likelihood of collateral damage. So I will put it under the systemic collateral damage, where though it is not intended, but the possibility of collateral damage is known, the operator proceeded all the same.
All right. So initially, people thought it was the Air Force again, but later we heard from the NAF that it's not them, and the Army took responsibility. Another question I would like to ask you is, does the Army have aircraft? Group Captain.
Well, when this incident happened, personally, like myself, I actually thought it was the Air Force, because with due respect, it was the Air Force that operates in the air. It was the Air Force that has having issues of collateral damage. But later on, after several hours, from the clarification by the Nigerian Air Force, and later the announcement by the Nigerian Army that indeed it was their own operation, then we concluded that it was no longer Air Force, it was the Nigerian operation. It was the Nigerian Army operation. Having said that, I started by saying any military man, you see in the Nigerian parlance, whether Army, Navy or Air Force is all one armed forces. Whoever is at fault, whoever is bereaved, I think it is a collective, feeling. Having said that, you asked the question whether Army have aircraft. To the best of my knowledge, when you say aircraft, that is fixed-wing aircraft. For now, I do not know that the Army have a fixed-wing aircraft. Even I know there are plans to buy helicopters for them. So that being the case, we ask what kind of air assets does the Army have? Again, it is something that any person concerned with security knows, that the Nigerian Army during the Buhari administration, they put a contract for 6 drones, Turkish drones called Bayraktar TB2. So it is, by deduction. If the army do not have an aircraft, but they said the operation is this, and this is an attack from the air, so we can conclude that it was the Bayraktar TB2 Turkish drones that were used for that attack, because that is the only air asset as of now that the army has in their inventory.
So in this collateral incident in Nasarawa State, we were told that particular incident was caused by an unknown drone. Are there other security agencies that have drones?
I have made actually some basic research to find that I know now. The issue is that almost security agencies and other agencies, they are trying to acquire drones. In the last supplementary budget that was passed, I know there were a lot of purchases or proposals to buy drones by various agencies. So again, and I learned from some reliable source that the police have drones. I think the Nigerian Immigration Service have drones. So there is this, again, this is the new challenge. There are many agencies, both within the military and non-military, that are trying to acquire drones. So again, this is something that maybe a kind of regulation or coordination, because when you have so many drones in the airspace, you have to do something about coordination, about apportioning the airspace, about identification of that. If not, again, that's another confusion. So in simple sense, there are several other agencies now that either have drones or they are in the process of having drones. Drones of different types. There are armed drones like this one that carry out attack. It is an armed drone. And then there are other drones that are not armed, maybe for observation, for reconnaissance, for deliveries. All are in the airspace in Nigeria now.
Also, Captain, I mean, between the different kind of weapon systems we have, jet fighters, helicopters, drones, is there anyone that will most likely not cause collateral damage?
Well, first, again, let me come back to collateral damage. Under international humanitarian law, what you call law of armed conflict or law of war, I want us to understand one thing. Collateral damage in itself is not illegal. With the proviso, there must be proportionality, there must be distinction, there must be all feasible measures taken before the attack to prevent. I've given example of proportionality. If you are following 10 bandits and unfortunately they entered somebody's compound and you know there's only one person, military necessity might make you that, look, this is an opportunity to kill these 10 bandits for one unfortunate farmer who is there. It's not that his life is not there, but this is a military calculation. So we have to understand that it's proportionality, distinction, and feasible measure. But that is not to say, again, an organization should accept collateral damage completely as it is acceptable. There's nothing we're going to do. That is the kind of mindset we must remove. Collateral damage is there hanging over there, but all feasible effort must be done to ensure that the possibility of collateral damage is avoided. If you decide to avoid collateral, if you decide to accept collateral damage, like I gave the example, is the basis that what I am going to gain far outweighs the possibility that I will kill one innocent person or two innocent people. Having said that, yes, for air power, you have fixed aircraft. Even between fixed aircraft, you have fighter jet, fast jets. You could have helicopters. You could have drones. Now, each of these, air assets, they have their own unique advantages and also limitations. With regards to collateral damage, unfortunately, out of all of them, drone is the one that has a higher capacity for collateral damage. In fact, studies that are carried out said that the collateral damage with armed drones attack is as high as 32%. Even when you move from Nigeria, what is causing problem between the United States with their operation in Pakistan, in Iraq, and the rest, you will see is drone attack. So drone has the highest, probability of causing collateral damage. Then, again, for the other ones, you could say to a less extent a helicopter. Why? Because a helicopter can hover lower. When it hovers lower, it allows the pilot, using his eyes and other gadgets, to correctly identify that these people that I'm targeting, are they farmers? Are they terrorists? Are they holding something in their hands? Are they advancing? Are they firing? All this will confirm to the pilot that yes, this is a legitimate target, I can engage it. Or on the other hand, okay, these are school children. Finally, and then he pulls off. A helicopter will have that more than a fighter jet that operates very high in the air at a very fast speed. It may not be able to do that identification. Then you come to drones, which I said. The drones, they are the most accurate. But then the most accurate, again, is not balanced by actually identifying the target I acquired. Is it a legitimate target or not? Because, unfortunately, the drone do not have the human element. Now, no matter how we advance technology, especially in a dynamic area, what do I mean by a dynamic area? Where this place could be occupied by bandits, the next time it is occupied by school children. In such fast-moving situation that requires, decision-making and analysis, unfortunately, a drone may not be able to help you because the human element is not there.
All right, Group Captain, you just said that collateral damage is not illegal. And sadly, this is the third incident we're having this year. But is there any special training that can help reduce these incidents?
Thank you very much. Yes, there is training, but not only training procedures. Like I said, international humanitarian law, understands there's always the fog of war. When we say fog of war, it means a commander cannot wait often that until I have 100% information, until I have 100% intelligence analysis before I attack. There are times that you have that luxury of time. There are times you don't have that luxury of time. For example, when you have a high-value target, when you have a time-sensitive target, that is a target that appears, and it is likely to appear for a long time, and it is high value, you might dispense with all those niceties and go and attack. Now, sorry, your question was what? Training.
Is there any special training that can help?
Yes, there are training first, right from planning the mission. Right from planning the mission, there are procedures that will minimize, if at all they do not eliminate, the possibility of collateral damage. You see, targeting for air power is about intelligence, the quality of the intelligence. So the information you get has to be fully processed. If you should always try to buy time to analyze the information that you are given before you act on it. That is one. And a second element is that even when you have analyzed your intelligence and it is correct at time T, at 10, maybe you receive the information at 10 o'clock in the morning, you have processed it, by 11 you are ready to launch attack. Because of the fluid nature of the kind of operations we are having, from that 10 to the 11 that you take your drone or take your aircraft, the situation might have changed. A place where they told you bandits have entered a certain home, they might have come out and some children have entered. So what does that tell you? From the time you take up to the last minute that you are going to drop your bomb, you continue, either it is from ground control, you continue updating that correct intelligence that you got, because things might have changed, until the last minute. And even at the last minute, the pilot or the drone operator has, under international law, no matter who gave him the command, you have the final decision to decide that I have come on top where they told me. What they told me is not what I am seeing, or I have doubt. In that case, you can cancel the attack and go back. So all this is what is called feasible precaution before an attack. Then also the issue of proportionality. For example, again, let me go up to my my hypothetical problem. They say bandits have entered a village. From your analysis, which you must have done, even from your map marking, when you arrive an area, you map all the places that you are not supposed to touch. Where is hospital? Where is market? Where is school? You have it marked on your screen. This village, how many people are there? If this is another way, you have started avoiding collateral damage, because you know where all the things are. To my right, to my left, to my front, to my back, at how distance, what is the coordinates of all these places, I already know it. So now, if they tell you a certain group of bad guys have entered a place, you quickly do, a proportionality calculation. What is proportionality calculation? These people that entered into this area, how many are they? Who are the occupants, the original occupants, that is the innocent citizens, how many are they? If, for example, you are pursuing 10, I'm just speculating, I'm not saying this is what actually happened. If you are pursuing, sorry. If you are pursuing a group of 20 terrorists, and they entered a place where there are 15 school children, or they entered a hospital where there are 20. Now, even before taking off your aircraft or your drone, you do a proportionality. Is it worth it to go after these 20 bandits into a place where you have this number of innocent? If the answer, what you are going to gain is equal or even less than what you are going to, the losses are going to be higher than the gain, then automatically that is not even an attack that you should do under international humanitarian law. So these are some of the processes: intelligence, preparing of your plan, having situational awareness of the area. Situational awareness. Again, let me be concrete. In this area, we learn from the stakeholders that at a time like this, during the Maulud, which is the birthday of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they always do this kind of night gatherings. It is part of what we call pattern of life. That should become a pattern of life of that village. From the DSS man that is there, to the policeman there, to any visitor that area, he knows at this certain time of the year, there are night gatherings. With this knowledge, even this knowledge can help you to avoid collateral damage. So what I'm trying to explain here, so many pieces of information should allow the commander or the planner or the pilot or the drone operator to have a picture of the area he is operating. And that might even make him not even start planning the operation. So these are some of the issues. And then when you come to specific training, there's training on what they call collateral damage estimation. This is, an approximate way of saying, if I attack target A, based on where the target is located, based on nearby structures, whether buildings, whether hospitals, what is likely to be the cost? There is a way you do that. You also have what is called rules of engagement. Rules of engagement are rules that will tell you when should I release weapons, when should I not release weapons. And the denser the population, the more likelihood that the people you are chasing are going to be inside a population, the tighter your rules of engagement will do. For example, a rule of engagement will tell you, do not release your weapon until you have positive identification of what you are firing at. Positive identification, it could be coming as low to see what are these people holding. Coming as low will, for example, help you to know, in this crowd that I saw, are there men? Are there women? Are there children? Now, this is the advantage that a manned aircraft will have over a drone. If it is a manned aircraft, coming down and seeing that particular crowd, which was given to you as a target, you saw women, you saw children, a pilot will think that, okay, if I can see women and children along this place, then it is not likely that these are bandits. Because logic dictates that bandits will not come to attack a place with children and women. So all these are the kind of things, the training, this collateral damage estimation, rules of engagement training, and weapon release procedure. Who gives the order to finally, if it is a drone like in this case, who gives the final order? It must be somebody who has contact with the target of that village. Either a ground observer or a local commander that is the place that, look, the information will give you 10 o'clock. As of 11 o'clock that you are overhead, I am confirming that those people I told you are bandits, so please go ahead and release your weapon. Here we can only speculate. I cannot know whether all this has happened, but you asked me simply what are the kinds of training and, and procedures that could minimize the possibility of collateral damage. And to be honest with you, the Nigerian Armed Forces also have guidelines. There is this book, Nigerian Army Handbook for International Laws Guiding the Operations. It clearly states there is this, is section 6.3. It talks of feasible precautions before launching an attack. It talks about all these things that I said, including the provision that where you are overhead and you are to release your weapon and you are not sure whether the people are civilians or bandits, what it says is cancel the attack and go back home. All these things are in our books, and this is the kind of training, that we should be calling for, either proof on it or to look at it and do more of it so that it minimizes. It may not eliminate, but it minimizes. If you do these things, right from planning, verifying your information, visual confirmation, all these things will reduce the incidence of collateral damage.
Thank you so much, Group Captain. Now, sadly, this has happened, and we've seen several delegations going to condole with families and the entire community. But of course, visitations can never be enough. Now, shouldn't the government or the military pay compensation for the killings?
Thank you very much. I remember the incident in Ran, that is in Borno State in 2017, January 2017, I can't remember the exact date, when we had a collateral damage, that time by the Air Force, where an IDP camp was mistaken as a place of Boko Haram, and then some people, I think some 200 people died. There was a debate as of that time, which I followed on the radio, for some people saying compensation should be paid to these people. And the government spokesman then, I heard him saying that, look, all over the world, as long as it's through military or security operation, citizens are not entitled to compensation. I actually called the government spokesman that time. I told him, sir, that information you got is wrong. It is a global best practice. When a citizen is harmed, whether it is military, whether it is army, whether it is Air Force, whether it is DSS, who have the right to use weapons correctly and either kill or injure to stop law distance. If it happens during that kind of exercise of their duties, they harmed an innocent citizen, there is the responsibility to compensate, either monetary or through other means, the people that are dead, the people that lost property, the people that lost limbs. In fact, the actual word that is used is not even compensation, because experts are saying if you say compensation, it's like you are saying there is equivalence for loss of life. We know as human beings there can never be equivalence for loss of life. So, international experts, they have this word solatium. Solatium. That is to say it's a kind of money or non-money, equivalent that you give to somebody. So what I want to advise in this case, this should not even be a debate. It shouldn't even be a debate whether it should be paid or not. They are entitled to what I call solatium. Anybody who lost, even the people that lost property, not actual life, they are entitled to solatium. And not only that, what other countries do is that there are procedures, there are laws that make that. I think here it is because we don't have laws. So people are of the opinion, which is wrong, that the armed forces or the police were in their lawful duty and this happened. And for that reason, citizens are not entitled. No, citizens are entitled to that payment. However, in making the payment, you are advised also look at the local culture. You might even find cultures where some people, they say we cannot collect money for somebody who is killed. It is possible, but the offer must be there, and as a policy, we should have that. I am not praying for another collateral damage, but because of the recurrence of the collateral damage, I think we should have that so that there won't be any debate, as I am seeing now. This debate has been dragging since 2017, whether payment should be made or not. We should put it an end. There should be a government policy that people are going to be paid. Who is going to do the payment? That could be elaborated in the policy. Is it the service that caused the damage or federal government? That can be, looked into later.
All right, Group Captain, let's take a break, and when we come back, this conversation will continue. This is Politics Tonight.